Welcome to Ladies-in-Law, where real-world advice meets professional wisdom and empowerment in realms of law and business. Your hosts, Lisa Goucher, Dawn Smith, and Kellye Raymond, bring you innovative strategies, practical guidance, and inspirational stories. Join us as we inspire and support women to thrive in traditionally male-dominated fields. We're here to promote inclusivity and provide practical advice for success. Hello, Lisa here with Ladies-in-Law. I've got Dawn and Kellye, and today we are talking about efficient, effective, and I say that like with air quotes, leadership. So this is Dawn's topic, so I'm going to turn it over to you, Dawn. Let's get started on this so important.
It's like you're being punished for your great idea.
Well, I got to hear her ideas.
So for me, over the last 5 years, I have really tried to grow as a leader. I never really thought about it before. I just kind of was doing my thing and just kind of cruising along. And when you have a firm and you have people that you are accountable to and responsible for, it's important that you improve your leadership skills. I think initially I was just terrible. I was just kind of in your face. You need to get this done. This is not working.
Was that effective?
It was not effective. It was not effective. And over time, I think, just the most important thing that I've learned, especially over the last year, I would think, is being vulnerable as a leader is okay. It's so important that you build relationships with your team. And I was always so scared before that if anybody that was in my work circle, as opposed to my personal circle, if they got too close to me, that would complicate things. So I think that there's a fine line between really getting to know your employees or your colleagues, people that you're working with on a daily basis, and just building those relationships and then being, I guess, too open. So that's really what I wanted to talk to you guys about today.
My gosh, being vulnerable. Is that allowed as a woman business owner, trial lawyer?
Exactly. It's really not. It's just a shift in paradigm. And I've really tried to think about the ways that I can be better for them so they can be better. Because if the people that are doing things on a daily basis for our clients, if they don't feel like they can come to me and talk to me about things, to learn, to be more effective, to fix problems, then they just get shoved under the carpet, and that's not good for anybody.
It just creates more of a mess when as a leader, people don't feel like they can come and talk to you and say, I'm having an issue, or this is something that is impeding me from doing my work the best way. Mm-hmm. It's all going to suffer.
Right. I mean, how do you build that culture? I mean, you just hired your second employee. Do you feel like you have a culture?
So for me, I've had to learn as a leader, being more proactive about thinking about what are the things that I want and not just assuming that people are going to know to do them. Because you can't get mad at somebody for doing something if you didn't tell them otherwise, right? And the more specific your needs or wants become, the more important it is that you are communicating effectively. I don't think that you can be a good leader without really effective communication and making sure that everybody on your team understands the directive, understands the culture, understands what you're trying to portray. The goal, exactly.
Yeah. What are we trying to do?
Yeah, what's the goal? So the common denominator here between the three of us is we didn't go to school to be leaders. We didn't go into management training as our degree. It's just literally been cast upon us. We're good with it, but it's evolving. And so
you have to be good with it, right?
You have, if you want to grow.
Exactly.
And if you have goals, you have to figure out what are you good at and what are you not good at. So as a paralegal, when I worked in a law firm, I've said this before, if my case clerk didn't have it going on, I would just work longer. Right? Because I didn't rely on their work product, and that was a representation of me.
And so you would just do it yourself?
Yeah, I would just do it myself. I would just work long. I would reassess my priorities. When I got into the court reporting firm, well, I'm not a court reporter. I will never be a court reporter, so there is absolutely no way I can cover that aspect of the business. So I had to learn to manage how to be a good leader with something I have no control over. Now, control came into play as far as like vetting them, turnaround time, just making sure the things that I would want when I was a paralegal in the law firm, that those were the things that I was asking of the court reporters and implemented them as policy. And as the business grew, then I learned, there's things that I'm good at and there's things that I'm not good at. And it was really challenging to bring people in to take over those responsibilities. But then once it happens and you trust them, then it takes on a life of its own. And so like right now, Kellye, you're you, and you don't have a partner other than your husband to maybe bounce things off of.
Right.
Dawn has a partner. I had partners, and that's where I'm going with this. So when I had my previous court reporting firm, we expanded, we got up to 75 employees, we had, group managers, we had all of that. And then I was good at the client component of it. I was good at the vision component of the business, like implementing what I wanted to happen and then working with the team to make those things happen. And then I sold, sat out for 3 years, started back, and then I had 2 partners. Well, I recently sold, and I had, you forget what you don't know. So my 2 partners, it's Goucher, Parker, Spivey. So Parker and Spivey retired. Now we have a new back office. And so Parker, she was the one that, like, if I had an issue, I would just say, this is my issue, and she would go fix it. She would,
Nice.
make it happen. She would contact the people. Well, that's gone. That layer's gone. So I'm in a very vulnerable position now because I'm just seeing, man, I really suck at certain components.
Isn't business
of
ownership
leadership.
so humbling?
I'm just, and I even just said to the, talking to some of the managers, I'm just like, you know what? My frame of reference is outdated, because my frame of reference, when I've had several years of somebody taking care of everything, my only frame of reference dates back years. And so the manager replied, and he was just like, okay, well, I don't necessarily agree with that, and here's why. And I was like, well, you're absolutely right. What I'm saying is outdated. So what I need you to do going forward is, when you ask for my input, take into consideration it may be outdated, and then what you know from what we've previously done, combine those things, and then let's talk about it, because I'm not the type that you just take what I say and execute, because that's not my goal. My goal is serving the clients and the company the best way I can. And when your frame of reference is outdated and you just have yes men, yes people on the other side, the end result is not going to be good.
Yeah,
so as an efficient, effective leader, while I may be sucking right now in different components, I am open enough to say, if what I'm saying doesn't make sense, like, you need to tell me. So the open dialogue, Kellye.
Realizing what you don't know.
Yes, the open dialogue.
Yeah.
Open dialogue with your new employee, and then combining that new employee to establish the relationship with the other employee. Like, you've got a whole new dynamic that is taking place. I have a whole new dynamic that is taking place. And so I'm kind of like been in upheaval from the leadership standpoint. I'm not feeling like I'm as effective as I could be, because I don't have Risa Parker executing, like, fixing the fixer. I don't have the fixer.
But
right
I
now.
really think, I mean, obviously, you are successful and you are a business owner. And so it's no surprise that your mentality is, I don't know. And so educate me, help me learn, not being the leader that's like, just do what I say, regardless of whether this is the smartest thing to do. I would always want to know if what I think would work is not going to work, or if there's a better way to do it. But I think you also talked about when you were a paralegal and you wouldn't rely on somebody else's work, and so you would just do it yourself. As a leader, as a business owner, I think it's such an easy and natural tendency to just want to kind of wear every hat and take on as much as possible, because you know you're going to do it right.
You cannot do that.
The problem with that is it's just completely unsustainable.
That's true.
And you will never be an effective leader if you cannot delegate. And of course, there's trust and vulnerability that goes into being able to rely on somebody to do their job the right way. And that's certainly easier said than done. But if you cannot delegate, then you're doing the work. You know, think about it in terms of like your hourly rate, even.
That's
like
really a
if
good
you
analysis.
are doing the work of somebody that's making $20 an hour and your hourly rate is $200 an hour, guess what? You're losing money when you're doing that work.
Yeah, that's a paradigm shift. Like once you're thinking about it in dollar time value of money, that helps a lot. But I would just say, just get over yourself.
I love it.
Oh.
And I say that just because I was that person. I'm like, but I know I can do this better. And I just think, just take a beat and just get over yourself.
We're laughing because getting over yourself is one of our collective New Year's resolutions, getting over yourself.
Yeah.
But it is important, right? And it's hard. It's a struggle for sure. Like I said, I think it's so much easier said than done. But you do have to just get over yourself, and you don't know everything. You might know a lot and you might really be great at what you do know. But is your business going to grow the way you want it to, or is it going to be the best version of itself if you aren't firing on all cylinders and you can't do everything?
You can't. And that's kind of where we are, I think, at my firm is, we have tried to make a consistent product, if that makes sense, in the litigation scheme is, you have to have processes. If you're practicing in multiple jurisdictions and you're doing one area of the law, you have to choose. This is the best way that we've learned in our experience to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then how do you get the buy-in from the team? How do you get them to understand that the experience that we've had in the past has led us to the conclusion that this is the best way forward? We have so many new young lawyers, and we're really emphasizing the importance of pushing the case forward as opposed to it coming to you, and to get them to accept pushing. It's hard because you got to be a little bit aggressive, but we're trying to tell them, you can still be professional, you can still be polite, but you can still move the case forward by doing X, Y, and Z. And if you don't have buy-in from your people, then it's chaos.
Yeah. You just made me think of growing up a soccer player, and like one of the important things in soccer is like you don't wait for the ball to come to you, because if you're just waiting for it to come to you, somebody is going to swoop in and take it.
Exactly.
Right? You've got to at least meet halfway or go get it. And I think that's exactly what you're talking about, especially with younger lawyers who sort of might have a tendency to just wait, like, okay, just tell me what to do, right? It's like, no, I need you to move forward and keep advancing the ball.
Yeah. And John Maxwell, I know you're a fan of John Maxwell. I don't know if you've read any of his books or anything. He has some great books on leadership that have been transformative for me. I think he's written like 27 books. He also said, one of his principles is just keep on trying. Just don't quit. Just keep on moving forward. Keep on trying new things. Keep on trying. He said he wrote, I think, 27 books before he had a bestseller. And he said he thinks back to when he was feeling like a failure or he wanted to quit. He keeps on thinking, I might have just quit at 26, or I might have just quit at 27. And then nothing would have come out of, kind of what he's created about leadership. He's very passionate about leadership and talks about the pyramid of leadership and the different principles in guiding lights throughout your journey to become a better leader. And if people are counting on you and trusting you to put them in a situation to where they can be successful, it's your responsibility to do everything that you can to learn to be a better leader.
Well, and you've got to prove and show that you have their back, right? In reference to buy-in, it's super important that there's some context that's given, some history. Like you want somebody to buy into an end result, but then you haven't told them the reason why you're doing that.
Why. Right.
Like they don't like there's things in business like for instance, higher level, stays at management level. But as far as the team concept, you're moving something forward. Everybody needs to understand why you're doing it that way, and then you'll move more collectively forward. And then when there's a problem, you've got to have somebody's back. They've got to feel like that you're going to be there for them. If there's an issue, they really will come to you and tell you about the issue, and that's where that's when you kind of know, not just kind of, that's when like you've created that environment.
And I think that's hard for, not all bosses are leaders, right? I think that's hard for a lot of bosses that aren't being effective leaders is it's this mentality of like, well, just do what I say because I said it. Which that's certainly
so
a one
easier.
style.
It's so much easier to do it that way.
But the way that the human brain works is like people will work harder, and if they know the why,
right.
If they understand like the whole goal, the why this is important, I think you get better and easier buy-in when folks understand why is this important, why are we doing it this way, and that open dialogue. If there's a better way, you think there's something better that we could be doing, let us know.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I want to know that.
And most people want to be able to make a difference. So when you have that buy-in and you know what the end goal is and they're in the process, in the trenches with you, there's just a total sense of satisfaction. I mean, they have done studies that, we all need to be paid what we're worth, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's not the pay that makes the difference. It's the opportunity to truly feel like you have purpose and that what you're doing matters.
I would venture to guess, too, it's not just the pay that makes, certainly you've got to pay your bills, and making money is important to everybody to varying degrees. But folks that are making a ton of money, for example, but are miserable in their work or don't get gratification from it, they are miserable. And all the money in the world won't make you feel better about that if you are not the best version of yourself, whether you're the leader at the top or just a cog in the machine.
We started, just this year, the weekly why at our firm. So we do a huddle at the beginning of the week, 8:30 in the morning, every Monday, which is a time for the entire firm to come together by Zoom, because we've got people all over the country. And we decided to start this new campaign about our weekly why. So why are we doing what we're doing? A client has had a huge impact on you, or, you had a big win in a case against a defense attorney, or you were able to just get to know your clients on a level. And, I think, who was talking? Lexley Overton. We had dinner with her last night. She's been a guest before. She was talking about a case, an elder abuse case, an older one that I didn't know about. And the lawyer that represented the family really told the love story between the husband and the wife. And that love story really carried through. So just getting to know and expressing to others on our team about why it's important that we're in this area of law, fighting nursing home abuse and neglect. That means everything to the whole just purpose of what you're doing,
Yeah, that makes total sense from the standpoint of starting the week off on a really bright note. I'm just curious, before we close out, are you getting the staff to participate, or is it pretty much attorney driven?
No, we're getting everybody to participate.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody to participate.
Wow.
So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be great, because not very often we just take a moment to just sit and think. Like what happened this week? How did I make an impact, or how did our clients make an impact on me?
I think that is a fantastic idea, especially doing the work that you're doing, specifically nursing home litigation, and any plaintiff's personal injury lawyer will tell you this, but the why at the end of the case is your client, right? And to make sure that everybody on your team buys into this idea that when you screw up a brief, or you don't do your best in a hearing, or something goes wrong, that has a direct impact on the person at the end of the line, and that's the client. And that person has been, killed, catastrophically injured, whatever it is. I think that's so hugely important.
Yeah. And that just kind of goes to leadership qualities. What can you do for your team so that they understand the why?
The importance of what they're doing, and that there's a purpose and that they're a part of it.
Yeah.
Wow. I will be looking forward. I know Kellye will too, like updates as it goes along, since you just started that program this year. All right. We have enjoyed another segment with you regarding leadership. Would love your comments, suggestions, input, feedback. You can comment below or feel free to email us at hello@ladiesinlaw.com.
Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Ladies in Law. We hope you're walking away inspired and ready to shake things up in law and business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and let us know what you think. Spread the word and share this podcast with your network. Follow us on socials for all the behind-the-scenes fun and sneak peeks of upcoming episodes. Until next time, keep rocking it, keep breaking the mold, and as always, keep aspiring to inspire.